Hi everyone, and welcome to Contentstack Pulse, your source for the latest updates and innovations at Contentstack. I'm Nicole Quick, Director of Product Marketing, and with me today is...
Hey everyone, John Kelly, Director of Product.
All right, John, the first thing I want to talk about is the Sprint to 100. There's a huge initiative with the product team and our customers. Can you tell me what inspired it and the reason behind it?
100%. So we have this sort of North Star on the product team. It's a Hindi word, it's called Anand. And really what it means is sort of joy or delight. And it's a bit of a kind of guidepost for us to help us understand and really orient ourselves around what it means to build product for our users. And with that in mind, we've kind of looked over the past few years on all the new innovations we've built, from automation to personalization to the AI work we've been doing and to the hosting work we've been doing as well. And of course, with some announcements we'll talk about here today. We really wanted to double down and take a look inward on sort of those core content management opportunities that our customers have been asking for. Some of those core jobs to be done that we know we need to satisfy. And so with that, we sort of aggregated the sort of top 100 most requested features or enhancements in the platform that have not yet been shipped, and have kind of made that list and have been chipping off on that list. A lot of tactical updates over the past year or so. We've gotten away about 2/3 of the way through that list, and so we're about 65 or 70 requests deep, and really looking forward to completing that list here in the first part of this year.
That's amazing. I know there's some core pillars that are part of this initiative about ease of use and performance. What are our customers seeing?
Yeah, on the user experience side, we're really focused on the core authoring experience. And so things like working with references, things like working with our search appliance. And so both in the entry list page, as well as how search appears and functions in the entry editor page as well. Rich text editing actually is a big core piece of this as well. So made a lot of enhancements to our JSON and HTML-based RTEs. And then, of course, one of our newer modules around taxonomy, a lot of ways in which taxonomies are discovered and implemented and worked with in the entry editor. So really just a core doubling down and focus within our authoring experience and those jobs within the content manager persona.
Hey, this is John, and we're going to walk through a handful of the highlights from our Sprint to 100 initiative. As mentioned in our webinar and in conversation with the audience, we've completed around 2/3 to 3/4 of that kind of top 100 list, with more coming out the door every single month here. We're just going to walk through a handful of the kind of some really interesting and easy to demo ones. So first off, starting off in our entry list page, a few things to note. When we are going to select some items here, we can see a new bulk add to releases option, which is pretty amazing. We are also are rolling this out in cohorts right now, but basically many customers today are seeing a new releases update having gone out as well. We'll be talking about that more soon, but basically that's going to include the ability to publish 50, 60, 70,000 entries or assets in a release. But for now, one thing that you are going to be seeing as of late is the bulk add to release option. Within an entry, actually, so if we pop into any specific entry, we can see that we do have, and actually I'm going to pop back to, I'll just go to an individual item here. Awesome. So we do have some new reference select updates. And so where there is a reference to be selected, go ahead and remove this. We do have some new updates here. So we can select, of course, our content type, which we've already had. Basically some new options for filtering and sorting, basically being able to add a lot of additional data to help you find the right reference for your needs here. I'm going to go ahead and just re-add this entry. And when we click over there, a few other things you'll see is we do have a new breadcrumb as well for our authors on the top left here. So as you're kind of cruising through and traversing your application, you will basically have now a breadcrumb that stays with you as you're doing so. So if you're getting down into a deeply kind of nested list of entries, you'll be able to kind of find your way back from there as well. What else? So we do have also some new nice new create new and new reference kind of options here. So this can be basically, even though while we are basically on a existing entry with some updates, it'll go ahead and actually allow us to still create a new entry while we're still on an existing entry, and it'll save those changes and drop us into that new entry, newly created entry as well. We also have the ability to create references before the first version of the entry is also saved. So kind of just helping to streamline several different kind of entry creation processes today. I'll note that there's an update to the overall kind of orientation of our fields. So of course, being able to work with all our different experiences here, from like live preview to, where we do actually have our outline actually that is able to be pinned, which is going to shift our fields over, or if we unpin it, it's just going to kind of have that drawer effect. And of course, all of our different right side drawers as well. All of our fields, especially like our modular block type fields, have a kind of a usability and overall layout and orientation update as well. Finally, I think one thing that was helpful to see is some of our search updates. And so a few things to note: we do have some views and filters updates. So the ability to do so using taxonomies, for example, is pretty nice. Also, we've kind of rearranged a lot of the different facets on filtering. And then, of course, within views, we've introduced concepts of like some additional views that are for yourself. So basically some default ones for users, as well as the ability to actually, coming very soon, save, or I should say share views as well. Also, we updated the ability to do the kind of filtering within the entry editor. And so we basically have a whole set of really nice and neat kind of filters available to you that can happen kind of both at the column level, or also, of course, within our advanced search operations as well. And so in this case, you're actually able to build up a pretty robust series of pretty advanced searches in a very intuitive way. Or of course, you can also do things like some of the manual sorting and filtering kind of here within your kind of table, and that's going to go ahead and just modify the query here. And of course, I can do things like save this or share it if I need to. So just a couple minutes on some of the nice new updates made to the overall user experience. Like I said, these are just a very small handful of a lot of very tactical updates across the entire platform here.
So how do AI and automation fit into this?
Yeah, so recently we just released a new exciting update to our automations platform called On-Demand Automations. So similar to our investments within the authoring experience in the CMS, we've actually have now enabled users to bring automations into the CMS itself. So previously with Automate, they were kind of standalone. They were able to be invoked and kind of run in the background, either on save or on publish or on some kind of workflow stage change. Now we've actually brought them into the core entry editor itself, and allow users to run those on demand. And so basically they can hit play and invoke the automation anytime they want. So as they're going through their sort of authoring experience, doing their content management, doing their content creation or whatever activities they're working on, they can actually pull up those automations and kind of hit play on those. It's going to, in real time, live, kind of run through all the steps in the automation. It could be either transforming some data, doing some localizations or translations, maybe working with a large language model, so for some AI processing, or working with the brand's brand kit overall, and basically give them that feedback instantly. And so as it's kind of running and doing its processing, for example, a newer automation we've enabled there is what's called content scoring. So not only will it go through and do some computing against AI to give like an SEO score, but actually it's going to go ahead and compare that to the organization's brand kit as well. So being able to compare it against the background knowledge in the knowledge vault, as well as the voice profile the user has set up, and basically give them a score for if the content itself that the user is creating is aligned with the overall brand from a relevancy and context perspective.
All right, I have one more question about the Sprint 100. I promise. What about personalization?
Personalization. So, of course, we launched Personalize late last year at ContentCon London. We've seen a really amazing amount of adoption and uptick in user interest from our customer base. And it really opened up our eyes and opened the doors towards this concept of telling the right story to the right audience at the right time. It became pretty apparent that with just the content side of the story, we were kind of limited in our ability to make good on that promise. However, and we also at the same time, we're having conversations around customer data, which really is the kind of second piece to that puzzle. And so with that, of course, we did announce recently our acquisition of the Lytics customer data platform. And we'd like to bring on a special guest for this Pulse episode, bringing in Drew.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Drew. Welcome to Contentstack Pulse.
Thank you very much.
We're excited to have you here. Do you want to introduce yourself to everyone?
Yeah, I'm Drew Lananga, ex-Lytics CTO and new Director of Data Products at Contentstack.
Well, I'm so glad to have both of you here today, but I have some questions. So I would love to get your guys' personal opinions about why the acquisition for Lytics and how it helps our customers.
Yeah, I think from my side, I kind of mentioned it briefly, but having just the content story is kind of the sort of what and then how and the delivery mechanisms, but we don't really answer the who or why of that whole story for the experiences our customers are delivering. And so just really helping to make good on that promise, I think, is what's really compelling for me.
All right, Drew, so give us your opinion also.
Yeah, I think it's hard to personalize to an audience that you don't understand. And part of what Lytics brings to the table is the ability to understand your customers in very important and relevant ways, relevant to how they're engaging with your site, relevant to how what their history might look like relative to a lot of other data points. And so with a broader and better understanding tied directly into the content platform, you're able to bridge gaps in personalization that before now have been hard to bridge.
Drew here to walk you through real-time CDP. Real-time CDP offers end-to-end data management and connectivity, all the way from ingestion and collection of data sources through identity resolution, AI scoring, segmentation, and activation to a number of downstream connectors and destinations, hundreds of places to activate your data and make those investments useful. So we will start with event collection. We'll hop into streams and identity resolution. We'll look at the scoring, activation, flows, and more. Let's hop into data streams. Data streams are how real-time CDP collects data from different sources. This account has Shopify connected to it. So I have a data stream representing the data that is coming in from this Shopify source, which includes on this stream, the transactions and the orders coming in from Shopify. I can look at what the raw data looks like, look at these, the values, inspect that the quality there of the data coming in, the nature of that, look at data types, look at raw values, and then also look at the data sources that are connecting it. So I've set up a Shopify job here to make connections to Shopify. If I want to make any changes, if I want to set this up, it's all point and click connectivity to be able to bring in data, automatically map that into your schema, and make that available in the rest of the data ecosystem. So if you want to connect a new data source, there are hundreds of providers to choose from, which include also custom sources like CSV and SFTP, webhook sources, data warehouses, and more, like traditional ESPs, CRMs, and ad networks. So once you have data brought together inside a real-time CDP, you'll have profiles that are built on top of identity graphs. The profile we're looking at connects data from an email address, which itself is connected to a number of cookies and anonymous identifiers, which help to then connect those anonymous identifiers to, in this case, a Shopify customer ID. So I can connect anything that's happening in my e-commerce platform with anything that's happening on any source that is connected here. So once I have an identity stitched together, I have an identifier, a canonical ID that represents the identity resolution process. So you get a consistent and persistent ID, however you want to use for activation. So this profile contains a number of profile fields, hundreds of data points from hundreds of sources, some of which are sent specifically and explicitly through the collection APIs. Some of them are inferred by real-time CDP. So we get things like content affinity inferred automatically from the behavior coming into the system. And behavioral scores, lookalike models, predictions, and much, much more here. Once I have a profile built, I can look at all of the attributes here, like we said, including behavior, behavioral analysis of data from every channel where data is coming in, as well as content and content affinity. Once profiles are built, you can activate them. You can use them inside of audiences with a no-code segmentation editor. Many of these audiences ship out of the box inside of real-time CDP, so I might want to connect my infrequent users with additional attributes I might have collected. Those can come from custom rules that include geo, UTM, campaign-based data, device things, or interests. So if I'm in this ice cream company, I might be interested in targeting those with a high affinity for ice cream. So I can slide this around and that condition and find the exact audience I'm interested in targeting and personalizing. You can also find out more information about your audiences in reporting inside of real-time CDP. You can track audience sizes and changes over time. You can track data flows. You can look at overlap between audiences and understand your audience and your segmentation strategies. And you can look at differences between audiences to find out what meaningful differences might help to drive differentiated experiences for users of different audiences. So I can continue here into lookalike models and build predictions around my customers and their behavior. This model is predicting those who have purchased and had smaller carts against those who had larger carts. So I can use these predictions to identify the users with the smaller carts who behave and are most likely to purchase with larger carts. And I can come in here and build a lookalike audience based off of these rules and target the exact subset of users that I would like, which may include rules that I've already built and rules built off of some of these predictive algorithms. Activation is very flexible with flows. Flows allow you to look at an audience and build a coordinated multi-channel orchestrated journey from that. This flow happens whenever any of my customers exhibit at-risk behavior. So I'll allow this to happen to re-enter. Customers can re-enter this flow at any point. There may be other flows like a welcome flow that I don't want re-entry on, but this one I do. So from here, once the user enters this flow, I'll sync their membership to different ad networks to be able to deliver targeted ads for various win-back campaigns. I can wait a little while for those ads to work, and as they come back to my site, I can understand exactly where they fall and what the state of their journey is. And then if I wanted to proceed and do any kind of split or experimentation or messaging here and add additional exports or waiting periods. Contentstack customers also get the benefit of a direct connection into Personalize. So any audience managed from real-time CDP will connect to Personalize for use in more targeted and relevant experiences as customers are engaging on site. So that's a high level of the real-time CDP as we saw it, all the way from data ingestion to activation.
So we talk a lot about content plus data equals magic. And can you guys really elaborate on what that means for our customers and what that magic is?
Yeah, I think a magical piece that has kind of been missing a lot is the ability to recognize an opportunity when it's presented. So out of the unlimited number of things that you could do, what are the few highest return on effort things you should do? I think that's a question that's always been difficult or impossible for Contentstack to help our customers answer, but excited to help actually make that answer true going forward.
What about you, Drew?
Yeah, I think part of the magic is the seamlessness in the platform where you have historically the content management system and the customer data platform in two different spheres. as those come together in the same sphere, and actually in the same workflow as you're authoring and building content and thinking about your content strategy and having data in there, in line, fueling some of those insights, there's magic in that seamlessness, and there's magic for the customer and the end user as they're engaging with experiences that are relevant and dynamic and personalized and fluid. They feel that magic coming through that pane.
So speaking about a platform, we just launched Contentstack EDGE recently, and that's all encompassing our headless CMS and our real-time CDP. So what does that look like to customers from an integration standpoint? What can we expect?
Yeah, so now we're able to really kind of complete the end-to-end sort of content lifecycle, all the different jobs to be done within all of your various teams and activities you need to do to really help bring experiences to life for your customer base. So being able to really kind of help tell that story in a unified platform, still composable, of course, at our core. Everything is composable, but offering the ability to do really powerful, high-quality work in a really simple, easy-to-use interface is kind of part of the promise going forward.
What about your perspective, Drew?
Yeah, Contentstack customers today can add the Lytics tag to their websites. And what you'll get is a cohesive story of data and content coming together. The integration will continue to take shape, and we'll see a lot of exciting developments at ContentCon and what that story looks like and how that workflow does enable the magic to happen.
Amazing things. All right. So speaking of the future, is there anything new or surprising you could tell us?
Yeah, so looking ahead, especially at sort of the middle of the year, which we kind of have our mid-year customer conference called ContentCon. It's kind of our ability to sort of raise that tent pole and have a lot of new capabilities under that tent. It's really doubling down on the opportunity to help our customers recognize their own opportunities. Like I said before, out of the millions of things they could do, what are the few things they should do, and helping them to use content and data to recognize opportunities to do their best work and the next best action.
And what about from your side?
Yeah, on the data side, there's a lot of exciting advancements around journey optimization and omni-channel journey orchestration. So incorporating your web personalization into all of the other flow and activation and kind of email automation and messaging and ads, that omni-channel story really comes together in a new Flows product.
Awesome. John and Drew, thank you guys so much for joining today for Contentstack Pulse. And thank you to everyone listening and joining us. We'll see you next time at ContentCon.